Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I give you the White Sox catcher and future Hall of Famer, Carlton Fisk.
This is really too much. It's been a long road, but it's a journey. It's not a destination, what we're doing here tonight. And I'd like to maybe just go through a few people that have really helped me out along the way. So if you'll bear with me, I'll try to hold up. You know, this record is something that just doesn't happen. And I just didn't fall out of a tree and end up being here. It's more an example of endurance and perseverance. And even though I'd like it and always dreamed that it would end on a productive note, I find that it's increasingly more difficult to maintain a competitive edge. But that's part of the journey also. I've been playing in the major leagues since full-time since 1972. And we have some kids' birthdays on our team that happened after that. So there's been a lot of good years, a lot of ups and downs. But there's been greater moments, and I feel as though that I've played hard, played with intensity, played with enthusiasm, but most importantly, I played to win. The game, I've given a lot to this game. The game has taken a lot. The last few years, it's taken a little more than I can give. But the journey started a long time ago. Back in Charlestown, New Hampshire, with my mom and my dad and my brothers. They provided the competition and allowed me the confidence it took to be able to deal with successes and deal with failures. I'd like to thank my dad for part of my personality that probably has allowed me to be here this long. He's allowed, I think he provided me with an unrelenting drive to strive and never accepting a second best effort out of myself. And my mom, who's allowed me to remain sensitive and compassionate within the game in my efforts to deal with the game and my teammates. My wife, Linda, whom I met when I was 17 years old, which is a long time ago, for providing me with unconditional love and understanding. And of course, Carlin and Casey and Curry, who haven't had the luxury of a full-time dad, but by being a part-time dad, it's made our moments together even much more special. And them knowing that my love for them is unconditional. The game for them has been fun sometimes, sometimes it hasn't. But they've endured with me. There's a lot of people in the game that have helped me be the player that I am today, because nobody can get to this point on their own or by themselves. My first coach, Ralph Silva, Charlestown High School, allowed me to play, just allowed me to play. And it's a long ways from the cow pastures in New Hampshire to this record-setting day here today, and he helped me. Rack Slider, my first professional coach in Waterloo, Iowa, he found out how much I wanted to play. Darrell Johnson, my AAA manager, who introduced a game to me that was more than just arbitrarily putting down fingers. Don Zimmer, who made me play. Tony La Russa and Dave Duncan, who prepared me to play better than anyone I have ever had. Jeff Torborg, for understanding what it takes to play my position and for believing in me. I'd also like to thank the people who put me back together to allow me to play. In Boston, John Malloy and Tony DeFeo helped reconstruct my left knee in 1974. Said that probably I would never play again. But here I am, thanks to them. Jim Boscard and Scott Price, for all the work they've done for me and to me here in Chicago. Terry Light, who put my hand back together. Lowell Weil, who put my feet back together. And there's also been people who have kept me on the field, who put me back together between the years. Fred Turner, Phyllis Levine, Mark Anderson and Herm Schneider, who without them, there'd be many days that I'd have missed out here without you guys. And people who kept me physically and competitively young. Phil Clausen, who started me on what is now a somewhat infamous strength and conditioning program, and all the sessions we used to have. Tim Wilson, who was the first strength and conditioning coach that I worked for and with here with the Chicago White Sox. And Steve Odgers, who without him in the last few years, spending all the time and hours after the game into the wee hours of the morning in some of the greatest dungeons in the American League, I thank you.